The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on the break!
With Ambar Garcia, Bryan Broddus, Voch Lombardi, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Tuesday, December 9th, 2025, season 21, episode number 90. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break Live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. We're presented by LG. LG is the world's #1 OLED TV brand for 11 years and counting. See why at LG.com/OLED Evo. Hey, man, you all right?
No, he's not.
You all right?
Ever.
Huh? You all right?
We're not.
Derek Eagleton, listen, man. This damn cherry night. Look, we just had a conversation, right?
Uh-huh.
When people ask me, they say, Voch, how you doing? I say, I'm blessed, I can't complain. And people take that as like a general Southern response. Just, oh, that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I really feel like in this freshman campaign at DallasCowboys.com, I used to watch this show. Mm-hmm. Like Rob Phillips was sitting in this seat or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Dave Helm, whatever.
Yeah.
I sit in this seat
Shut
now.
the F up.
You know what I'm saying? While you was fighting Mickey and them. I sit in this seat now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So people, you know, listen to my tone and demeanor sometimes and think that Voch is just a cocky, arrogant bastard. And that's partly true. But I'm sitting in this seat that I've been looking at through my camera, sitting in my Mustang delivering pizzas. I used to look through my phone and look at this seat. And now I get to sit at it and make gestures in the camera.
So every time you see yourself, you just like,
We made it.
I'm here.
We here. What do I have to complain about?
Dreams do come true.
When I get to cut Derek Eagleton off while he's doing a damn intro, I get to make Ambar Garcia mad. She's been here for a decade and a half, but I get to make her mad. And me and Bryan Broddus get to fight and shout loudly into the camera. It's a blessing, man. So I'm in a good mood here. You know?
Hey, by the way, life is like that. Like you just,
Yeah.
as you said earlier, like there's a lesson in everything.
There's a
right?
lesson. I wish y'all paid me a little more, man, but I cannot complain.
Well, you know, just keep working at it.
You can't help.
Just keep working at it, bro.
You can't help me.
Just keep working.
Just keep asking.
Keep working. Yeah, keep asking and keep working.
No, go ahead.
You know? All right. We appreciate you guys joining us today. We got a lot of different things we're going to get into, some different topics. I'm going to start, though, with some conversation around playoffs. Because last night the Cowboys were in a situation where they needed some things. Well, they needed something specific to happen. They need the Eagles to lose. And the Eagles acted for a moment like they were not going to be compliant. They had the ball. They were moving the ball. At first you think, could there be another tie? And you got to deal with now having the Eagles also have a tie. They got all the way down. I think they were in the red zone there when that final fateful interception was thrown. But the Eagles helped the Cowboys out last night. So I got some different scenarios for you because right now the way it looks for the Cowboys, there's a lot of football still to be played. They got 4 games left. Yeah. There is either the likelihood that they could win the division,
For sure.
which right now the Eagles are sitting at 8-5, or the likelihood that they can get into a wild card spot, which means they have to displace Carolina, Detroit, and probably Chicago. I'm going to make the case Chicago is probably the most ripe for the picking of the 3 teams, of all the teams that are in the playoffs currently. The Cowboys would have to jump all these teams to get into this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out the scenarios, and I want you guys to tell me what you think is most likely. Let's start first with the fact that in order for any of this to work, the Cowboys have to, I think, run the table. Yeah. Now, that being said, they're going to play Minnesota at home, then the Chargers at home. Then they go on the road to Washington, New York. By the way, New York and Washington have already been eliminated from the playoffs. Some would say that's a good thing. I tend to believe it's not a good thing because teams that don't really have something to play for can sometimes turn into something very, very different.
What up, Bean? It's a blessing to see you too, bro.
Well, I don't even know what just happened. Anyway.
Something was going on with his microphone. Bean just had
Touched it.
Okay.
He
No,
just did this.
And he didn't say a word. He
Nah, it was the something here may have been loose or
Now
something.
you probably
so,
messed
All right.
up just now.
back to regularly scheduled programming.
I understand.
How likely do you think it is Dallas runs the table against these teams where in all of these games, except for maybe the Chargers, not sure about the Chargers, but in all the other games for sure, Dallas will be the favorite team to win? What do you think?
What we've learned is just because the Chargers go out there and look goofy versus the Eagles does not mean that they're going to go out there and look goofy versus us. What I mean by goofy, just in this way of the Chargers are going to struggle to get their 20-some-odd points on the board, and you're going to get a whole bunch of turnovers. And Justin Herbert's left hand probably not going to be as broke by the time the Cowboys run into him. So I expect to see a different Chargers team. I have to take every game week by week, even when it's time to play the Washington Football Wizards and Jaden Daniels coming back. I still would have to assume that this defense is capable of giving up 40 points. I don't want to beat up on Brother Flus. You should see the comment section from yesterday. A whole bunch of amens in there from whooping up on Flus. I don't want to say nothing bad about Flus right now. But you literally have to take these games.
Because he let it all out yesterday.
He did. He got it all out.
I got some more.
You're good.
You literally, I'm fine.
I think we got your point.
Flus going to run into him. You literally have to take these games week by week.
Yeah.
And Minnesota seems to be a team that's getting in their own way and all this kind of stuff, but they just whooped up on the
Commanders.
Yeah.
The Washington Football Wizards that whooped them. So just as easy as they can put 30 on them, they can put 30 on you. And if you have a little mess, then fine. But assuming that you run the table, I think the best way in is to let Jalen Hurts continue to be terrible, and just take that spot in the division. And I like that a little more because the Cowboys are much better at home. So if I can get at least one home game out the exchange, I think that'll be best for you.
Don't worry about that Christmas Day game. It's the Commanders. Yeah. And I think that you'll find a way to play well at home against Minnesota. We'll see what happens. Voch is right about the silliness with the Chargers, and they give up 7 sacks, and then you roll out there and only get 1 or 2 and have to fight your way through that. That's going to be a difficult game, but I always like the chances at home. It's the games like the when you mentioned, Derek, when somebody doesn't have anything to really play for except to maybe ruin your season. That's a very, very powerful thing. Now, the thing about that Commanders game, it is on Christmas Day. And so do you wonder about, the Cowboys, if they're, they win these next 2, you'll see them really, really locked in. The Commanders, maybe not, but then the Giants the following week. And you just don't know what's going to happen, weather-wise. The one thing I think Dallas is better equipped to do nowadays is run the football. So, but you just worry about goofy divisional games at the very, very end of the season. The home games, I feel confident in. It's those games where it's midweek travel. It's, hey, it's the Commanders. They're supposed to have quit. It's Christmas. And then you get a bad bounce or 2, and the next thing you know, you're flying back home with a loss. Those are the kinds of days that really scare me the most. The last 2 divisional games are the ones I'm honestly worried the most about.
For sure.
I'm just tired. I'm so tired of this whole just back and forth of what we feel about this Cowboys team, because we were right after the Chiefs game talking about how, hey, we feel like this Cowboys team can actually compete against anybody in the NFL. And then you go and face the Lions, and then you get that kind of performance, and you're like, well, I can't cuss. I don't ever cuss, actually.
Well, shucks.
Well, darn it.
Sheafed.
Darn it. I can't believe we're watching this. So then you start seeing what happened with Philly and these other games. And even then, and we know this is it is out of the control of the Cowboys. Like, the Cowboys do have to win all the games that they got left, but it also depends on what happens externally.
Well, we'll get to that.
Yes.
Yes.
But even then, it's to the point where, again, you see, beat the Eagles, beat the Chiefs, made a whole mess against the Detroit Lions. And it's to a point where you get excited and you trust what you have to a certain extent. And then they give you that kind of performance. And then you're back again and like, well, wow, okay, maybe this defense can't get you anywhere into the playoffs. And then you start doubting again. So it's just, yes, I love the Cowboys. Yes, I trust in some of the talent that they currently have on the roster. But unfortunately, despite what happens externally and everything else, it just comes down to yourself, the mistake that you make. Because when you go back to the Detroit Lions game, despite what the defense was doing, offensively, there were a lot of mistakes where you turned the ball over, and you're not going to win games when that happens. And we keep talking about, the offense has to have a perfect game, which is not realistic in this type of game, but it's just a lot of different things that you just can't trust it. You can't fully trust the team right now, despite of what happens externally.
Ambar, that's a very safe way to say that you sick of flus. Because what
Don't put words in my mouth.
What the Cowboys have shown you, even if they shoot themselves on the foot and you get a Ferguson fumble and some weird stuff and Turpin waving and still running anyway, they still put 30 points on the Lions on the road. I think that's enough. It's the defense that got you mad and upset and up and down and roller coaster. Because, boy, they'll look fantastic. It's just the Raiders. Then, Jalen Hurts. Brian said the other day, maybe the Eagles and the Chiefs and the Raiders offenses aren't a good measuring tool to measure this defense versus. Maybe they're just all bad, and the Lions are the first official offense, a playoff type offense that you can really evaluate yourself for. Brian, that's very fair of you. It's all on the defense now. If your defense show up magically, and boy, I'd be so glad if Flu's saving all the best plays for the postseason. I'd be happy as hell if he's doing it, but I don't think he's doing that. I just think that's what this defense is. So the roller coaster that you on, it's the Flu's coaster, and I'm sick of it too.
All right, so let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well,
because
I didn't say that per se. No, I love Flus.
No, listen. We all love Flus the human. I love Matthew Eber Flus the human. Flus the defense coordinator.
Well, it comes back, in my personal belief, goes back to what you were saying yesterday about adjustments. Mm-hmm. Once you put those 3 games on tape after making those trades and adding new players to the roster and on the field, it gives enough tape for a Detroit Lions to see what you got working with and make whatever type of adjustments they want to do. But you, on your part, are not getting creative enough to keep it fresh to a certain extent and keep you guessing on what you got in store, like what else can you do. But I'm eager to hear this playoff scenario and what that looks like and where we're standing.
Well, if you guys are going to get mad at people, Nick Sorensen, I'm a little mad at you right now.
Give it to him, Brian.
I'm just saying, I'm a little mad. You can't have games where all of a sudden the opponents are starting at the 41 and whether it's scheme, personnel, putting guys in the right place. I mean, something needs, and I know Coach Schottenheimer talked about that maybe there were going to be some personnel changes, hopefully, but you can't keep allowing opponents to be at their own 41, 42 or at midfield, the whole entire game. So if we're going to get mad at people, I'll throw him as a get mad guy as well.
Especially with an ailing defense, especially the defense that you're already kind of questionable about. You certainly can't give teams short fields.
Have that.
All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, we'll walk through some of these scenarios, and basically we're going to lay out all the teams and what will have to happen with them if the Cowboys win out. Here's what they need from the other teams, and see how likely you think that is. We'll be back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
If you can't be at the stadium, there's no better way to watch your Cowboys than on an LG OLED Evo TV. That's because everything you see is more lifelike. Every play, every hit. I mean, you might as well be on the sidelines. That's how clear it is. It's all thanks to LG's legendary technology. Perfect black, over 8.3 million self-lit pixels. No one comes close. LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game for a reason. See for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman here, the official pitmaster of the Dallas Cowboys. This holiday season, I've got Yeti's new insulated bowls and food storage working overtime. The insulated bowls are amazing. It'll keep queso warm or guacamole fresh. And the food storage containers protect my ingredients and help me stay organized. They also make great gifts for the host, making Yeti bowls and food storage MVPs for the holidays. Get yours at Yeti.com or a Yeti store near you.
I'm home. Hey, Mom, before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you... Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finale ready to play. Here's your wine.
Wow. Isn't it nice not having to ask? We think so. That's why if there's a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service, guaranteed. Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or for wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for details.
Cowboys fans, here's the game plan. Touchdown Tuesday at Take 5 Oil Change. Just wear your Cowboys gear and save 25% on your oil change. No huddle, no overtime. Just drive in, stay in your car, and roll out. You'll be tailgate ready in 10 minutes flat. Keeping up with your car shouldn't be a tough call. Take 5 makes it as easy as calling the coin toss. Take 5 is the official oil change of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit take5.com to find a location near you. Offer valid through December 31st, 2025. Terms and conditions apply. Valid only at participating locations.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Back to the break.
Choose perfection. Choose LG OLED Evo. Check out the best TV in the game at LG.com.
Welcome back. It is the second segment of the break. We're live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. The segment's brought to you by blockchain.com. All right, so we talked about the Cowboys' likelihood of running the table. Now let's talk about what they would need to win the division. In addition to them running the table, they would need Philadelphia to lose 2 of their final 4 games. They will be playing at the Chargers. Never mind. They already played that game. They will be playing Las Vegas. They will be playing at Washington, at Buffalo, and then at home against Washington. So of those 4 games, Las Vegas, twice against Washington, once against Buffalo, what is the likelihood you think Philadelphia loses 2 of those 4?
Does anybody else want to go first?
Go ahead, sir.
I definitely believe Buffalo is going to be the one that gets them. And Jalen Hurts' play is so volatile. It's so volatile. I think you got a shot versus the Raiders, really. The Raiders are a terrible team. They can make things tricky on defense. That's what kind of makes me think Hurts may have some problems on defense. Problem is that I don't see the Raiders putting up points on the Eagles like that, so it'll be like a 3-2 victory for the Raiders if it does happen or whatnot. But what you're really hoping for is that Jaden Daniels comes back healthy. And you have to run into him as well, but you need him to be great versus Philly. If I had to make a guess, it'll be one of those Washington games and the Bills game.
Yeah, you're going to need some different quarterback play. I think Marcus Mariota at times, the home games for Marcus Mariota, he's shown up, when he's had to play in those games. I think he's made a couple of different starts where he's put up some points. And, you always worry about with him playing him, it's the RPO stuff and all that. Will people around him make some plays? They took Denver to the wire. I mean, really, if he lobs that ball over the top of, the rusher there, then it's a commander victory on at home with Marcus Mariota at quarterback. That's your hope, that they keep playing hard that way. The Buffalo game is interesting because Buffalo's still fighting for positioning as well. So that's going to be the Raider one. Was it now Kenny Pickett at quarterback for the Raiders there? Kenny Pickett was one time with the Eagles. Do they know something about him? Is their team just so that bad? You don't know. I mean, you really don't know. It's just depending on the Raiders getting on a plane and flying all the way across the country and wanting to play hard. But have they given up already? Maybe they have. But, yeah, it's going to come down to one of those Commanders games, and it's probably going to be, like I said, a Marcus Mariota having to find a way to get a win at home there, for the Commanders.
Yep.
Every time I think we're like, oh man, this sucks. Just the season, how it's just been going up and down for us. And then I look at the Commanders and the Giants. Yeah. I'm like, gosh, talk about being miserable. But, but
they're way worse.
Despite their current record and despite that they're on an how do you say that? 8-game losing streak right now. Sure. Those games always tend to be very competitive when you talk about divisional games like that. So I think they're going to show up, and I don't think the Eagles necessarily have it guaranteed where they win those 2 games against the Commanders. But I do think it's very much possible for them to lose 1 game against them. I think it always ends up being very competitive in that way. However, I want you to be very specific, Derek, as far as numbers and simplify it to exactly, okay, the Cowboys have to win out. Correct. At this point, you cannot lose any other game.
For sure. No.
On top of that, how many games in total would the Eagles need to lose?
Two.
So that to win the division, your path
That's
is
your best
you got to
chance.
win out,
Unless-
and Philadelphia has to lose 2.
Unless
Now there
Chicago.
is also there is
Chicago.
also a scenario which is highly unlikely that if Dallas loses 1 and Philadelphia loses out, you could still do it. But I just don't think that's likely that they'll lose all 4 of those games. But the more likely is Cowboys win out, and then Philadelphia loses 2 of their final 4.
And as far as wild cards,
Well, that's where we're going to go next. Now that we got the likelihood of what can happen of winning the division, now let's look at the 3 teams Dallas would have to jump over to get into the wild card. Let's start first with the Carolina Panthers. They are 6-6. They only need them to lose 1 game of the 4 that they have left. One of those will be at Houston. Good luck with that.
Because Carolina's best shot is to be better than Tampa, and for them to try to get the
right now, and that's the thing. Like they're battling for the division,
Yeah.
But one of them, if you pass one, you pass the other from the standpoint of the getting into the wild card.
because you're only 1 game behind Tampa,
Right, exactly.
but they're the South guys.
Right, that's exactly right. So you just need them to lose. You need Carolina to lose 1 of those 4, and you would jump over them. Detroit, they are 8-5 right now. They have to lose 2 of their final 4. So they are at
Their schedule's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, they're at the Rams, which is a tough game, playing Pittsburgh at home, at Minnesota, and they finish the season at Chicago, which, by the way, we'll get to Chicago in a second. Chicago's one of those teams that you're looking at that you could possibly catch. So one of them is going to take a loss in that final game. Sure. That being said, what do you think is the likelihood Detroit goes 2-4 down the stretch or worse at the Rams, against Pittsburgh, at Minnesota, and at Chicago?
I think how it's laid out there, I think Detroit probably finds a way to get in. I think they can take care of. They may lose to the Rams, but I think they can beat those last 3. But if you take the flip side of that, and we'll talk about the Bears in a little bit. But yeah, I'll just say the Lions are in. If it's me.
Yeah, the Lions. If they lose a game, it would be at the Rams. The Rams are playing for something. They're playing for the first overall seed.
Absolutely.
So they've got to go. They have no choice.
And it's this weekend, so it's not like they'll even have time to.
They've got to go. Yeah. So that would be the one opportunity. I think everywhere else now, the one thing that's starting to happen to the Lions is they're starting to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
They're losing key players. They lost Brian Branch to an Achilles. They've been banged up along the offensive line. That thing hasn't been really healthy all year. But you saw what they're capable of. St. Brown and Williams and the backs and all that in golf. But we'll see. I mean, it's kind of a return game for golf, going back to L.A. I mean, I know he's played in some of these. I think they played in a playoff game and stuff like that. They've done this a couple of times. But still that possibility of going back. But I think if they're going to lose a game, it would be in L.A.
Okay.
I think they have a certain chip on their shoulder. And after seeing the way that they play against the Cowboys, heading into the game, I guess maybe I underestimated the Lions a little bit in the sense that I didn't realize how aggressive they currently are, to where they just play with a different kind of energy and they just find a way. They find a way. And I think right now, regardless of the injuries, they're still being able to make it happen and play with a certain type of energy and aggressiveness. I think, obviously in any team, when you get certain types of injuries, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect you, and that might cost them. But at the moment, I would say they can easily, not easily. I agree with the Rams being a tough one for them, but the rest of the games, they're very much capable of winning those out.
Also, too, the Lions look great versus us. And Amber, you made a fantastic point. They do look a little more aggressive. Like, that's always versus us. Yeah. They'll come out and whoop the Cowboys and play the best game somebody's ever played in their life, and they'll go out and look terrible the next week, and they'll lose to Pittsburgh.
By the way, I do think it's personal between the Lions and the Cowboys. I think that enough of the history has happened in the last few years. I think it's becoming one of those games where it's a personal thing. Like they don't like us, we don't like them.
That is a good point, because when I saw it, I'm like, oh, I didn't know y'all had that in you.
So watch this. The Lions at the Rams. Pittsburgh is a home game, then it's at Minnesota, and it's at the Bears. Yeah. They might lose them games. They
got 3 road games.
I'll tell you what,
season,
get golf outside. I always say this, you see golf with 2 gloves on outdoors, bet on the under. because
that last game's going to be at Chicago outside.
He struggles when the temperatures dip. You know, I mean, people say, well, they won at Green Bay one time. Well, yeah, but overall, you watch his games that played in sub-freezing weather, he's had struggles.
So then Chicago becomes the last one. They are currently 9-4. They will need to lose 3 of their last 4. But check out this schedule.
Yeah.
They play this week at home against Cleveland. Then they're at home against Green Bay. Then they're at San Francisco. Then they're home against Detroit. Right now, every team except for Cleveland that's left on their schedule is a playoff team.
Right.
What do you think is the likelihood they lose 3 or 4?
Let me tell you something about the Browns.
They're interesting.
They the Browns.
Yeah.
Boy, you guys are talking this thing up.
We are.
No.
Shedeur Sanders is going to give him a chance.
I don't even care about Shedeur.
I don't either.
I care nothing about Shedeur.
The
Browns defense is tough.
Myles Garrett is a problem.
The Browns defense is tough, and Quinshon Judkins in that run game, they can't do some things.
Sure.
I care nothing about Shedeur. Shedeur throw the ball to the other team. I don't care nothing about that. This is matchup based.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about the Lions and the problems they having on the offensive line, the Bears or whatever, offensive line stuff, all this kind of stuff, I think the Browns can get after them because Caleb ain't really tearing it up as a passer like that. Like, he's running around, you know what I'm saying, just erratic in the pocket. He's not really making throws, whooping folk like some of these other quarterbacks.
And by the way, not accurate when he's running around.
Not accurate at all.
Yeah.
I can make an argument that Caleb Williams has a weird game versus Cleveland and the Browns find a way to run the football. The Browns could win that game, but more than likely, they're not. More than likely. But I can see Green Bay beating the Browns, the Bears again. I can see the 49ers beating the Bears.
I mean, with that record, their offense can't score.
Yeah. Matchups are weird. It's all about matchups. Matchups
Styles
are
make fights.
Is the game being played in Cleveland or in Chicago?
It is in Chicago.
It is in Chicago, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
I wonder what the weather's going to be like, because that also.
Well, both teams are used to playing in crappy weather.
I get that, but I'm saying, like, it does change how you play the game, right?
Yeah.
Then if it becomes one of those snow games, then it's probably going to be one of those games you're probably going to have a lot of running.
Yeah.
Does that favor one or the other? Does that favor Cleveland over Chicago?
I like Derek, man. He optimistic, man. Get us in the playoffs, Derek. I love that. The Browns going to beat them.
That's my problem. I'm optimistic about everything. Yeah. Go ahead, Brian. What do you think?
I'm good, man.
Do you think Chicago can lose 3 of their final 4? Because it doesn't have to be the Cleveland game. The other games are the ones that are.
I think the other games are the more interesting ones. Yeah.
Green Bay, San Fran, Detroit.
Yeah. For sure.
Garcia.
I hate Chicago, but
what?
But I think they can actually. I feel for whatever reason, it would be either the Packers or the 49ers where they lose a game. Other than that, I think they can definitely win 3 out of those 4 games. I really do.
Okay.
What are you doubting here?
Because I think Green Bay, San Francisco, and Detroit, I think all can beat Chicago. And part of it is I'm still not a complete believer in what I've seen from Chicago. And I know that's not
tough.
fair.
They win.
That's not fair. They're winning.
But me neither.
But I'm just like, really? That team? I don't see it. Now, I will say this, because me and my nephews have been having this conversation all season. And you look at what Ben Johnson is doing, and it does make you kind of wonder, like, is the magic syrup Ben Johnson? Because Detroit isn't having the season they were having last year.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, Chicago looks like a brand new team that we've never seen before in Chicago offensively, right? Yeah. And it does make you think. So when I start to doubt, like, this team, then I start to think, well, maybe it is the coach. Maybe the coach is the one that's making the difference. But as I'm looking at the schedule, it does make me wonder, like, we're going to find out for sure if Chicago's for real.
Yeah.
Because having to play Green Bay at home and then at San Francisco and then Detroit to finish this, we're going to find out if Chicago really is a true playoff caliber, championship caliber. Because at one point, they were the top seed in the NFC.
They had a chance to tie Green Bay the other day in that game.
Yeah, they did.
They rolled that thing out, and he underthrew the ball.
So the question is, are they that? Or are they the team that has a 9-4 record that at one point was at the top of the NFC?
Listen, the team that you hope is going to fall apart, it was really the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah,
that's the one.
And you just win the division.
That's the one that looks like to me that and seriously, and then hey, come on, San Francisco, come on,
at least you'll be at home.
Yeah,
right?
you'll be at home and you take
home.
your chances. But to me, like, these teams we're all talking about could probably lose one game, and probably they've been playing well. Kind of Chicago's really playing well. I mean, they have. I know their quarterback can kind of be a little sketchy sometimes, but overall though, man, they're finding ways to win games. And so to me, my hope is to go in Philadelphia completely fall apart. And they're on the road right now doing that. Find a way. Hope that's my hope. Hoping that Buffalo beats and this and that and the other. I mean, that to me, that's okay, great. The one thing I know is Philadelphia is playing terribly right now.
Okay, so do you feel that the Cowboys can win out right now?
Do I? Like I told you, I'm worried about the divisional games on the road, just as a Christmas travel day, short week game. All of a sudden, they have one foot in the parking lot, so much on the line. Dallas hadn't played well on the road.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Dallas hadn't played well at all. I mean, they've beaten the Jets on the road, and who else?
Las Vegas. Yeah,
Vegas.
The two of the worst teams in the league.
Maybe it's going to take them beating two more bad teams, but I just worry about these divisional games and somebody having something to play for. The home games, listen, you catch the Chargers on an early Sunday on a noon game. Man, Chargers went across the country and played Jacksonville. Same kind of situation, got crushed.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you catch the Chargers at the right time, but like I said, it's those games, the home games, I'm more confident in. It's those road games, divisional games, I'm not too sure of.
What I worry about for Philadelphia and them having to lose those games is for everything that's going wrong right now with their offense, they get to play Las Vegas this weekend. And if that doesn't spell a game where your offense can get right and get yourself built a little confidence, I think that's the part that I'm a little bit concerned about, that Philly can get on a roll after beating Las Vegas. And that gives them enough to get past Washington. And I don't think they're going to beat Buffalo, but does give enough to get past Washington. And then you're into the final week, you lose to Buffalo. That final game is everything. Them having to win at home against Washington. I've always believed this. Nick used to always say it like this, like those teams that are out of it, on that game day, you might get their very best. They'll throw a lot of stuff at you. The question is on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, are they giving you their very best?
Yeah.
And if you're already out of it, my suspicion is those teams are probably enjoying New Year's Eve. Like they're not spending time looking at film and preparing for that game on New Year's Eve heading into that game. So that may give a little bit of an advantage on that final game to the team that actually is needing that game in order to win. All right, we're going to take our final break. We will come back. We're going to dive inside the brain of Bryan Broddus. He has some questions for us. We'll be back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
Every day begins with a promise to work hard and to build a future. That's why we're here, providing the tools, expertise, and John Deere equipment you have relied on for generations to help you get the job done right. We're with you. That's our promise to you, because no matter the project or the challenge you're facing,
we're with you. We're united.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
I'm home. Hey, Mom, before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you... Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finale ready to play. Here's your wine.
Wow. Isn't it nice not having to ask? We think so. That's why if there's a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service, guaranteed. Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or for wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for details.
From the field to the festivities, Lucchese embodies the essence of luxury and tradition. Handcrafted with meticulous precision, each pair offers unmatched comfort and style. Stand tall while you're tailgating or cheering in the stands with the Dallas Cowboys collection by Lucchese. Shop the collection today at the Lucchese store at the Star in Frisco or online at lucchese.com. Lucchese, the official boot of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
How's it going? You see that Cowboys game?
Oh, I watched. Been seeing some good things.
Totally. They have some talent.
Yup, some great talent.
And they got some fight.
Hoping this is the year.
Me too. Oh, I'm Cody, by the way.
I'm Travis.
Nice to meet you, Travis. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.
Make a new friend based solely on their shirt choice. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
Back to the break.
He talking too.
AT&T connecting changes everything.
Did you just ask about Freddie Jackson?
The right tackle.
I was talking about the right.
Oh, I
tackle.
thought you were talking about the
Lane
singer.
Johnson's not.
I know the singer Freddie Jackson.
Okay,
I was talking about Fred Johnson, the Eagles right tackle.
Freddie Jackson.
If Freddie same thing. If Freddie Johnson is still playing right tackle, then Max will have a great day. You know what I'm saying? Max will do some stuff.
Man,
like that.
I can't see the Vegas Raiders beating the Philadelphia Eagles this weekend. I'm sorry, I'm optimistic, but I don't see that happening. I actually think they'll get right this week. I think their offense is going to get back on track this week.
Derek Eagleton, a lot of people call me a hater. I've been calling Jalen Hurts terrible since week 1.
I saw you glowing last night. You were just
always a party.
You were just feeling great last night.
It's always a party, man. Eagle fans. I don't really have a problem with the team like that for real. Eagle fans make me sick because they love to come find me. They love to come find me. Voch, what was this take you had? What you said about this? Fine, come find me when y'all ass looking crazy out there. Because then I'm gonna find y'all. And then I just know the algorithm put all that mess out there. Please follow me on Twitter so we can go laugh at Eagles fans tomorrow. But go ahead, let's finish.
All right, Brian, what you got for us?
Yeah, Voch, I'll start with you on this one.
Hey.
Jerry Jones spoke on 105.3 The Fan this morning about possible changes with Logan Wilson seeing more action. His wishes or the coach's wishes?
Well, Brian, I think there's a lot of coaches that want certain players off the field. And maybe that decision come down to one person. So I think coaches is a bit loaded in that way. But I think at some point you got to get to the enough is enough point. Now, in Voch's opinion, but I'm just a camera microphone guy. I ain't important at all. My enough was weeks ago.
Okay.
But maybe they're having some conversations and it's as thick as it's ever been and we can't afford to lose. And, hey, Logan's been here long enough now, so let's take the training wheels off of him.
Yeah. He's the general manager. He's got prerogative to be able to say that, right?
I would assume Brother Jerry. What up, Jerry? I would assume Brother Jerry has gotten sick of it.
Sure.
And he said, all right, look. Maybe Shotty ain't gonna be the one to say it, but I'll say it. Sit this guy down, and we're gonna play this guy because I gave up my draft pick for him.
Right.
The draft picks belong to the general manager now.
Right.
I gave up my draft pick to go get Logan Wilson.
Right.
Why is he not playing? Can somebody explain to me why is he not playing? And these are the negative returns that we getting from 59.
Gotcha.
So
Ambar Garcia.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say as far as the picks. I know Jerry Jones values draft picks very highly. Like they're very protective about all their picks, no matter the round and what year and all of that. So the fact that they went out and traded for this guy and then you're not seeing that player be on the field as much and versus the bad things that are currently happening at the linebacker position, I think it comes from the top making that decision and saying, you know what, we traded for this guy. Let's see him. Yep. Let's see him because otherwise, what did we make the trade for?
Derek Eagleton.
I agree. I think if it was the coach's decision, I think it would have already happened. So my guess would be at this point. And by the way, I'm not saying that I think it's only Jerry because I think it could be the coaches finally coming around. The head coach might be coming around and being like, "I mean, why are we not playing
with
this player more?" Yeah, and it's like maybe we ought to consider something different. And maybe that's what he's telling the owner and general manager is, yeah, we're going to do something different there because I just don't like what I'm seeing. So I don't know where the impetus is. What I know is at this point it feels like it is at least leaning that way because I don't think Jerry comes out and says it unless he's been told that by the head coach that we're going to do something different.
Gotcha. Ambar, Diggs needs to be put in the lineup no matter what.
That's a loaded question, Brian.
What if he hurt?
Right. That's what I was thinking. Like, that's a loaded question. No matter what?
No matter what.
What if he's still concussed? Not that he is, but
Diggs. That's CeeDee Lamb.
Diggs was concussed.
Sure.
The last time we saw him.
That's a long
That's
a long concussion.
I get that, but I'm saying like he said no matter what.
Ambar.
Like, no matter what.
Diggs needs to be put in the lineup no matter what.
You got a concussion on the cords. That's crazy. I'm sorry.
Got a concussion at home. Remember?
That was a month ago.
I know.
It's been a long time to the point where we're like, what concussion?
If he got a concussion now, Britt Brown.
Then he might. You think Britt got him?
Yeah, Britt got him.
That's funny.
Well,
I can actually see Britt like,
what you doing?
Bowing up. Like, go ahead.
I don't like this question, Brian, because I have a lot of mixed feelings about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
And
You've got 1 minute.
oh, Lord. I don't know how to verbalize my feelings on this one because what I know or what I've heard a lot is for this person, and I'm going based from the things that I hear, okay? And some of the things that I see, I've always heard that the commitment in the rehabbing part of it is not always 100% there. And that affects you. And I also know when he got paid for that contract, the expectations were a lot differently because you cannot prevent injuries. They happen. They're going to happen in the NFL. It's a very physical sport. But what you can do is you see the amount of commitment in the rehabbing process. What you can do is be as helpful to the training staff as much as possible, doing what you're supposed to do. You see, for example, a guy like Overshown. His commitment, it goes through it's unbelievable. He's doing everything that he possibly can to get back on that field. So this is where I have the issue. Trevon Diggs is a very talented player. He has it. I prefer to have him in there playing corner and have him doing what he does best. But when you have to continuously talk about rehabbing and injuries and, are we scared of tackling? That's a problem because you need him. You need his talent. You want him on the field. So if he's given his 100%, I definitely want him no matter what on the field. But I just, till this point of the season now, it's just like, is the commitment there? Is the will? Is the desire there for you to go out there and compete? I don't know.
Derek.
I will say this. I want to also point out the possibility that what you may be hearing, Amber, with regard to commitment could also be a situation where the player feels like the way he wants to do his rehab is different than maybe the organization and how they want to do it. I'll take you back to the offseason. He wanted to do his training, his offseason work, and his rehab in, I think it was Miami, and that's what he chose to do, and the organization wanted him here and doing it with their guys. That to me is not necessarily about commitment as much as it is he just may have a different way he wants to do it. And so I just want to allot for the fact that let's not paint the picture that it has to be a lack of commitment. It could also be he wants to do things differently.
I'm all for it. I was all for him doing what he wanted to do with his body and rehab during the off season. We're in the season. We're in here. And you're paying me. I do what you tell me to do during the season as a player.
Oh, I thought you were talking about in general.
As a player, you do what you're supposed to do during the season. During the off season, I'm all for it's your body. Go do the rehab that you feel it's needed. I was more on his side of the argument during that conversation during the off season. But now during the season, I'm going to be doing what you tell me to.
Right. And by the way, I'm with you on that. I actually think in the offseason or in the season, if you're committed to the team and doing what the team, I think when you sign that contract, I think you have a certain commitment to the team of, I'm going to try to do the things that you're asking me to do. And if you're asking me to be there to work out and in order to do rehab, I'm going to try to accommodate that. My point is that I just don't think we can necessarily just assume it's a commitment issue when it could be he just wants to do it his way and he's committed to doing it his way, right? But that being said, Brian, to answer your question,
please.
Yes. If he is healthy, yes, I want him back and I want him on the field.
I know you're not laughing now.
Absolutely can help.
You're not one to be laughing at that.
All right, go.
If he's playing 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, it don't matter. So nah.
So you don't want him back?
If he playing 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, I don't care. If he comes back and he's playing 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, he just like Kalen Carson. He's just like Kyrie Elam.
Yeah.
If they change the scheme, I'd love to have him back. But I don't think they're going to do that in week 14, 15. Nah.
Got it.
Short answer. See, bro. Ambarita.
All right, guys. That's a wrap for us. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll start jumping into this next game. Cowboys versus who we got next?
Minnesota.
Minnesota. We got Minnesota, so they'll be coming to AT&T Stadium. We'll start looking at the Minnesota offense versus the Dallas defense. Till then, for Voch Lombardi, Bryan Broddus, and Ambar Garcia, I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!